Hello and welcome to Breakdown Studio Live with Grandmaster Ernesto Inarkiev.
And Woman Grandmaster Dina Belenkaya.
Wow, what a resultative day! What a decisive round 12!
Yes, it's truly amazing, and today we have a lot to tell you about these games.
And right now we are joined by legendary Grandmaster Michael Adams. Hello, Michael, can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
Good evening. It's a big pleasure to have you today with us this Saturday evening to discuss such an amazing round. Which game impressed you the most from today? Did you follow the games?
Yeah, I was following all the games. Well, of course, Giri's win and Nepo's win as well. The two wins with black that have the most important for the tournament standings. I think these two games were both played at a very high level. Well, they both played very well, very cleanly since the tournament resumed, and today also. But I think perhaps the Giri game, just the way he coordinated his pieces, was really impressive for me.
Yes, and I think we just should go to this game, Fabiano Caruana against Anish Giri. Indeed, this is a very rare case on the top level to win such important game with black pieces. And the way the game played, I like very much. And I think this would be very interesting, Michael, to hear your opinion about this move, because I have a feeling that evaluation level of Anish is so high, so it would be very interesting your opinion about his play. Okay, so I have this board. Anish choose to play Sicilian defense, as he already played it in the first games of the second lap, but he chose slightly different move order. He tried Sveshnikov system, but this is another way of playing it. Generally, Michael, what is your opinion about this system?
Well, I think it was a good choice today. Of course, Anish has huge opening knowledge across every system, so I think it's always good for him to try and play something a little bit unexpected and use his universal knowledge. And I think this would have been a small surprise, but I think it was also a sign that he was very determined to try and create winning chances today, that he said, okay, I do all I can to try and unbalance the game. And they both, of course, wanted to win today because they need to move up in the standings. A draw wasn't very likely to be that useful. So, but I think it's good to see, instead of saying, okay, he just plays solid with black and hopes that his opponent overpresses, he said, okay, I'm going to fight right from the start as well.
Yeah, this is the hidden part of every round, how the players work during their prep. So this is very interesting choice. The main line here goes with knight b5, but this is not what Caruana decided to play. He chose a3. This is sideline. The idea is to stop bishop b4, and also to take some more time to develop in the bishops. So this is already a surprise. Surprise line, definitely not the main one. So after bishop e7, bishop e3, castle, bishop e2, d6. Here is another very interesting moment of the game. Caruana played queen d3, and this is a novelty. And at the first glance, it looked quite strange for me. Generally, Michael, I know that you also played this line, not exactly this position with a3, but generally with the bishop on e2 against Paulsen. I saw many of your games in this setup. So how do you think, what is the best position for the queen here, for the white queen, I mean?
Yeah, queen d3 is a bit unusual. I guess that it's very common for white to try and get the queen to g3 in these lines if you castle kingside. And sometimes you might go castle kingside, play f4, queen e1 to g3, but actually in the game the queen ended up on g3 anyway, but via slightly different route. So that's the idea. But yeah, I mean, queen d3 was a surprise for me. I didn't really expect it, but I had the impression that maybe both players were out of their preparation fairly early on, and they were perhaps they just wanted to get a fresh position where they could both play. And well, anyway, that's how it turned out anyway.
Yes, this is interesting. Because right now it's not clear if queen is able to go to g3, but finally, as it happened in the game, Caruana managed to transfer it to the very active ideal position in this setup. So f4, e5, this is one of possible way of playing for black. Immediately start action in the center. Knight takes c6, b takes c6, and we get unbalanced positionally pawn structure when black has b file to organize a counterplay, and also c6 and d6 pawns can potentially be weaknesses, the target for the white pieces. Castle, I felt that long castle is too risky for white here. What do you think, Michael? Is it possible for white to castle long?
Well, the problem is, as you've already indicated, the half-open b file and the pawn on a3 is also could be a weakness later on. And white hasn't really played very aggressively. It's more of a kind of containing setup that he's gone for. So more sort of strategical than an all-out attack. And normally castling queenside is sort of set up when you're trying to go for a kingside pawn storm. So it's sort of more a slightly more positional way to play, trying to target the two weak pawns, or perhaps also that the two bishops on e7 and d7 don't have much scope at the moment.
Okay, so after castle short, yes, bishop e6, queen g3. Finally, we see that the queen get this position from where he can attack both g7 and d6. This is a powerful position for the queen. And at the moment, what I like very much was the move after knight d7, rook d1. It looks like white get serious pressure on d6. Also, g7 is hanging. The move Anish played here, he played rook e8. Another logical possibility is queen b6. How do you think, Dina? What's wrong with this move?
That's a trap. I can see the double attack here. You tell me.
Yes, sure. I know that you're very sharp in tactics, so this should be...
Well, there's a check right now, so it's either king h1 or bishop e3, but I guess you're waiting for queen e3.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think it would be better if I would ask you what happens here.
Well, there is bishop d4.
Yes, bishop d4 with knight d5.
There is the knight should the queen should be trapped, no? Bishop d4.
Actually, all this idea are here. You're absolutely right. Bishop d4 is key idea, but first white can prepare this. Knight d5, and after c takes d5, bishop d4, just winning the queen, because now queen attacked, and also there is a mate on g7, which black can't defend. So this queen b6 is just too early. So this line shows that black don't have easy way to develop the piece. And what I like in this rook e8 is very good preparational move to prepare the further development of the pieces. Michael, please tell us your evaluation of this position, because you have very brilliant style, very deep, the feeling of where the pieces should belong. And my feeling about this position, that this is mostly about understanding of the position more than about calculation. And I think that at this moment it was very important for the players to find the best squares for the pieces than to calculate exactly lines.
Yeah, well, I mean, for white, I think the good news is that the major pieces are very well placed. The rook on d1 and the rook on f1, they're both very active. And the queen on g3 is also quite nicely placed. Maybe, you know, some bishop h6 ideas could be in the air one day. Whereas black's major pieces are just on the back rank. They're not doing very much, as you were just showing. Queen b6 can't activate the queen immediately, but black's minor pieces are now actually quite well placed. This bishop on e6 is very solid, and one day the knight will look to come to e5. And in general, black has good dark square control, where white can't influence the dark squares too much. At the moment, he's only really got the bishop on f4 fighting on the dark squares. And this knight on c3 is a little bit stuck. It can't really go forward at the moment. This pawn on c6 prevents it going forward. And maybe it would like to go to d4 via e2, but at the moment the bishop is on e2 in the way. So it's, you know, there's a huge number of factors to take into consideration. I mean, there's probably when you put them all together, it's fairly balanced, dynamically speaking. But you know, the next the next few moves. It's a question of whether white will be able to kind of improve the minor pieces, or whether black will be able to improve the major pieces to some extent. And we'll sort of see how that develops over the next few moves, I guess.
Yeah, this is really the crucial moment of the game. So after rook e8, Anish found a very logical way to improve his position and don't give any clear idea for white at this moment. So after rook e8, king h1 is anyway natural move for white, and now the d6 pawn is really hanging, so black have to decide what to do with it. Anish played queen b8, attacking b2, and this was the moment for Fabi to decide what he do with his pawn structure. He decided to play b4. Another way of playing this position is to play b3, keeping the natural pawn structure on the queen side. So after b4, knight e5. Now black is ready to play a5 at some moment, and also c4 square can be important. And we see that d6 pawn is now completely protected. So this knight on e5 is just a very, very strong piece. Actually, I always had a feeling that it's quite strange that the bishop on e2 can become a very bad piece in this position. It's not obvious right now, but when the knight is coming to e5, this is already becoming a dangerous factor for white. So what happened in the game? Fabi played b5, rook c8. His point was to put the knight on d5, and this is once again very interesting question how the factors should be evaluated. So who have a better perspective on this position? What is more important? Michael, please give us your thought. What is the most important thing in this position? What the players should do here in general?
Did the right plans.
Yes.
Well, I think Fabiano sort of played very aggressively on the queen side with this b4, b5. So he kind of compromised his structure on the queen side to kind of go for this short-term activity with this knight d5 idea. I wondered whether, in fact, maybe he missed something in this transaction, because I think the activity was sort of temporary and the structural damage was probably more serious. And to some extent, I think it was around this stage that I think Anish started to take a bit of control of the game. But I think it was just a very nice sequence of play with Anish, this rook e8, queen b8, then moving the rook again to c8, the rook coming to c6. And his next couple of moves, he kind of really got coordination of his whole pieces and brought in particular the major pieces into the action. But you can also see white's now got these kind of three loose pawns that you've just highlighted. So that's kind of a lot of loose pawns. And there isn't really that much to attack in the black position. The kingside pawns, is still three pawns protecting the king very securely. So there isn't really many targets. Black has these three very well placed pieces in this stack on the E line. So it's really there's not much for white to attack. So I think perhaps this b4 b5 was probably not didn't really work out as planned from white's point of view.
So maybe this was the most important moment of the game, yeah, when the things went wrong for Caruana. This before, I mean.
I just felt this sequence of play when you kind of like look back at the moves. I thought Anish just really found he really touched the position with these queen and rook moves, and suddenly everything was working well. I think probably the problem was after b3 knight e5. I don't think he was sure how to follow up. I was looking a little bit at that position. I saw that maybe the computer was suggesting bishop h5 there, with the idea to go knight e2 to d4, which is not an easy move for a human to see. But when you see it, you can see it makes good strategical sense, because as the game developed, things became more difficult because white was sort of stuck with a lot of weak pawns, and it was hard. And there wasn't much to attack, really.
I also feel there is a psychology behind this decision, because it seems like Caruana tried to play it more tactically, try to make it more complicated, try to unbalance the position. After b3, it is really more a slow game is going to come. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, he may have just felt that, you know, it was too drawish and he needed to find something with winning chances at all costs, even if he took bigger risks. It's not maybe so important. Certainly, as it turned out, a draw would not have been particularly useful for him in this game anyway, now that we know the other results of the round. So maybe that was just, you know, a very sensible tournament decision.
yes, so after this transaction, we can see that black pieces have now much more promising squares, lines to be activated. White rooks looks very active, but actually they are not doing much in this position. There is no target on the f file for the rook f1, not clear target for the rook from d1, but also we can see that when black will double the rook on the c file, the c3 pawn is real target. And I think it's very difficult to play such positions with white because you're suddenly out of ideas. It looks like your pieces is active, but they're not doing really much. And this is my feeling what was going on in this game, because Caruana positions start to get worse and worse with every move, and it was very difficult to find the right way of playing. What would be your advice, Michael, for Caruana? Is it possible for the player find the way in such a situation when the game already going badly, so you need to change something? So what should he do?
Well, it's a difficult situation because you kind of like to look at some forcing draws, forcing ways to play. So you think, okay, things are going wrong, I should force a draw, but then you're thinking, well, if they don't completely force a draw, it might make things worse. So then you think maybe I just defend solidly for a few moves, but then the position can sort of become even more unpleasant. And of course, psychologically, when it was a game he needed to win so badly, it's difficult then to play objective defense when you know, even the best case scenario is not that useful from your point of view.
Yes, it's a very difficult choice. So we quickly go through the next moves.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Sorry, just one moment there, because I thought that was actually a key moment. Perhaps when he dropped the bishop after knight g6.
Okay.
Because I thought there white could play bishop g4. The computer also quite likes that move, and actually Anish also mentioned this possibility in his press conference. And I thought this was a very key moment because I think after bishop g4, just after this, I think it's easy to see how white is playing and how he can get some activity. He's still on the worst side of the draw a little bit, but I think then you could see the minor pieces getting exchanged in a way that wouldn't leave black with a really big strategical advantage, because in the game, that was really what happened, and white was just in for a long defense, a long, tough defense, whatever happened. But I thought this was maybe an important moment, that maybe that might have been a way to get back within a kind of practical kind of saving margin. After this, it was already getting quite seriously bad.
Yes, it would be. It would make a big difference if white could change the bishop instead of letting change the knight on d5. Yeah, it's really absolutely different story.
That was really the problem piece the whole game. This bishop on e2 for white, just really it was a problem that was never really solved. For bishop g4, even just psychologically, you get rid of the bishop and already you feel a little bit happier. You solved this problem in your position, so it's one problem gone at least.
Yes. So Caruana played bishop d2 instead, and after that his position of worsening with almost with every move. Okay, it was unpleasant all the time, and he tried to defend, but positionally it always was unsound, and it felt like it will be a very difficult day for him. I just want quickly go to the
final critical moment.
More or less final moment. Okay, practically speaking, a computer find a way to save the game with queen c7 when the position is still more close to equality, but this is always not an easy way to find the computer decisions. I just want to show that what is the difference in the piece finally came. So in this situation, computer already showing that black is completely winning, despite it's only 1 pawn up. But the main difference is, of course, that this knight should be considered like an extra piece in this situation. This knight is much stronger than the white's bishop, and white bishop just cannot find the useful square to really play important role in this game. So we should consider in this position as black simply have have extra knight, a white knight. Yeah, this is like an extra knight. This is just this game actually reminds me your style, Michael, I should say, because I think this is your best character to make a domination out of nothing. So slowly you improve the position. I think this is your best games. What I like the most is I always have this feeling that you find a way to dominate the opponent pieces slowly but inevitably.
Yeah, I would have been very happy to have played this game today with black. I think it was a very high quality performance by Giri. Yeah, because the knight, I think Kasparov was once saying that knight on f5 or f4 is worth a pawn. So black also has another pawn, so that's already a couple of pawns, and other pieces are much more active as well. And of course, this white squared bishop, the pawn on d5, one of the very few pawns. White doesn't have many pawns remaining, but one of the ones that he does have is really impeding this bishop on f3. So yeah, it's surprising how big the numbers that the computer actually gives in position like this these days. But it's easy to see that it's not very hopeful for white.
And Michael, how do you evaluate Giri's chances against Magnus? Now looking at his amazing strike.
Well, I don't know how likely that is. I mean, I think Anish looks like he did very well during the year of lockdown and not much over the board chess, because in the online events it seemed to me at the start that he was not finding these so easy, and I think he hasn't found in general rapid and blitz at the very highest level. It hasn't been that successful for him, but he's really seems to have improved in this area and made big steps forward. And I think this has given him quite a lot of confidence when he's played over the board, both in Vaikanze and in the candidates. So it seems to me that he's kind of simply improved in strength over the last year, which is very impressive because he was already playing at such a high level. And I think he had perhaps had a few years where it perhaps plateaued, but I think he now found a new slightly improved level. So, well, that certainly bodes well for his chess. I don't know. The other question is a bit too theoretical to talk about yet, I think, but about a world championship match. But yeah, I've been impressed with his play over the last year.
And as a chess professional and a chess fan, just in general, who or what matchup against Magnus would be the most interesting for you? And do you think that we might be having the future world champion in Yekaterinburg right now?
Well, I think Magnus is probably the favourite against any opponent still. He's still to me the best player. But I think either of the two of them is looking like an Eppo or Giri at the moment. I think either of them will be very good opponents. I think it will be a very entertaining match. And you can't, I think if they, whichever one of them makes it will have shown probably the best result of their career in this tournament. So, and as I already said, that I think that they're both getting stronger from a very high level. So that's very impressive.
Once Garry Kasparov, describing your style of play, gave you like a nickname like Spider-Man. I pretty much can imagine what was his feeling when he faced you. So what is his? This is unpleasant. Such an unpleasant style can be. What do you think about your style of playing? And now we have two leaders. Okay, Jan is a little bit higher in the standings, but Giri is very close and he's playing very good so far. But compare these two leaders. Who is your favorite according to the chess style of play? Which play do you like more? Jan style, Giri style, and what is your personal feeling about your best quality in your chess style?
Well, I don't think. I think they are both more universal players. I think Jan is more of an attacking player. He's very practical. He can play very fast. I mean, even today in this very important game, he was playing actually pretty swiftly, and he puts a lot of pressure like that. I think actually that if he does end up playing the match with Magnus, it's also good for him, because I don't think Magnus likes so much to play people who play faster than he does. He's not very used to this. I think it's not something that makes him so comfortable.
That's a good point.
Giri has also been very practical. I mean, even in his game with Maxime, where I think he got a little bit caught in the opening, he couldn't remember, or maybe he didn't know the line so well, and he had some difficulties, but he played very practically. He used his time, but he didn't run very short of time. So they're both, just in very good form at the moment. I think my play is a bit more one-dimensional. I'm looking much more for quieter positions than they are. They're perfectly capable to do that, but they are also very, very strong calculators, which is not an area that I am really competitive with the top guys in terms of attacking and calculation.
Yes, it's very, very interesting to know such a deep evaluation of the players, understanding what they're best and what their worst things in their style. So thank you very much, Michael, for joining us. We are very glad to have you in such a day when we have 4 decisive games, and to have such an interesting game, Caruana against Giri, to analyze it with you. It's a big pleasure for us. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I was just actually wondering what the odds would be to have 4 decisive games today. It must be very, very unlikely before the start of today. So maybe there can also still be some drama to come, because if we have 4 decisive games today, then there is obviously a lot of life left in the tournament. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Michael mentioned 4 decisive games. Definitely, at least it is going to be a very exciting day for us in the studio.
Yes, this is a very unusual situation. Usually in such a top level, the players just don't let you to win the games. But I think right now they feel that situation is already such that you have to win. The draw is not important anymore. Your chances to win is much more important than to be solid and to make a drawish game.
And we are about to be ready to meet our second guest for today, woman grandmaster Dana Reizniece-Ozola, who also happens to be a member of the FIDE management board and vice president of European Chess Union. Dana, hello.
Hello, good evening. Greetings from Yekaterinburg.
It's a big pleasure to have you here with us. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Dana.
Hi.
Dana, you are our first guest who happens to be on the stage right there in Yekaterinburg. How is the atmosphere here? How are the players?
That's very exciting, and actually somewhere today I've read that this might be the first day in the whole history of the candidates that all the games have had the decisive result. So this somehow reflects the fighting spirit of the players, which is definitely here in the air.
That's totally amazing. And in general, do things or have things become calmer in Yekaterinburg?
Calmer. You mean on the chessboard, they do not get calmer. I mean, the last 2 rounds are going to be full with excitement because the tension is high, and you see that the runner-ups are following closely, and tomorrow we have the day off where possibly the players will try to relax, but I guess it's not going to be easy before the last 2 rounds, while the decisive games are still ahead. For example, Jan will face Maxime. Maxime, I guess, feels much better after today's victory, quite an easy one, full of energy once again, and fighting spirit. I guess that the audience, the chess world will, and all the chess gourmets will have something tasty to enjoy.
Yeah, today we really were surprised with such a day, so we even decided to break down more games. So for our viewers who are waiting for this chess part, we will definitely check it. We will check both games of Jan Nepomniachtchi and Vachier-Lagrave against Kirill Alekseenko. Dana, did you have a chance to talk with the players? Do you stay far from them? Because it is interesting how the players play in this event after the 1 year break and immediately such an important tournament. Did you meet with them? Did you talk with them? Maybe you saw something interesting.
I try to keep away from them because I've been a chess player, an active chess player myself, and I know how high the tension is during this kind of tournaments, and any loss of energy can trouble you. So I don't like to interfere or interfere their concentration. My task is, together with the local organizers, to make it comfortable, to avoid all the technical or all kind of problems so that they can concentrate on the chess game. But in general, I mean, as it was promised by Maxim during the first press conference at the opening of the tournament, he said that players have prepared much during this year because there was nothing much really to do besides getting ready for the second part of candidates match, and so it was promising. And I think what we see on the board, it is really so that everybody has got something in their pocket or in the head, yes, something prepared for the games, and that's for our advantage.
This is a very good point, because someone is asking why the players during the tournament don't like to talk with others, and this can be the right answer. They just have so much in their pocket, what they prepared, and they just don't want to lose it somewhere with some conversations, with some extra talks. So now we know what is the point.
Dana, you mentioned that you have been a professional chess player yourself. Could you tell us more about your career in chess?
My career in chess, I mean, I'm the board number one, and still am actually, since 1998. Oh gosh, so a long time ago.
Oh wow!
That was my first in a lista. I started when I was 8 years old, being a chess student in one of the great chess schools in Latvia. Still training time to time. And I think that's been a very important, chess has been always a very important part of my life. Even during those years when I was an active politician, a minister, I have kept chess close to my heart, and that has helped me to keep the balance in the life. Otherwise, I mean, being a politician, that's very easy to get to lose the gravity. Yes, chess has somehow kept me on the earth.
You not only stayed there, but also managed to do some very huge surprises by beating the one and only Hu Yifan.
Oh yes, that was back in the Olympiad organized in Baku that I managed to win against the world chess champion. That was a nice achievement. I guess especially important actually for the Olympiad itself, because I was even joking back then that the first interview that I had with the BBC, that was not because of me being a minister, but that was because of me being beating the world chess champion. So this was also, additional PR for the chess world and for the Olympiad as well.
You've had such a successful chess career. Also, you built a career in politics, but you also happen to be a mother of 4. Please tell us, what is your secret? How do you manage to combine all those and still have time for everything? What is your time management?
Women are very good in multitasking, but my answer normally is that I've got the tough chess training since my childhood, because I used to train. I mean, probably the most of those chess players who have reached the height in their life, in their professional chess career, they know what it means to work a lot. So I used to train 6 days a week, and then I was always away on the chess tournaments, coming back, and then in a very short time I had to do everything. I mean, much more than the others in the extensive one. So that has been a very tough but very useful training that allows you to be probably better than the others in the time management at the end of the day. That's why I highly value the professional chess players. I know that only with the God's given talent, it's not enough. You need to work a lot.
It doesn't sound like a sweet secret, because, you know, we expected that you will just tell us how to make it easy, don't spend much time, don't work hard, and to get everything. Unfortunately,
just be charming and talented. That doesn't work if you want to become the world chess champion. Even if some of the players might seem to be very, you know, self-confident and easygoing, that's, I guess, never like that.
I agree with Dina. This is a very impressive achievement what you get in life, but it is very curious for me. Come back to the moment when you decided to start a second career, because in chess you had impressive results, European champion, and I believe you have a good perspective in chess. And then you decided to start, I don't know, maybe it was very new part for you, but maybe not so new. But please give us your thoughts. What was you thinking? What was the main factors you comparing, and how did you make this decision which bring you to such a success?
Probably I was too distracted, but you know, when I finished the secondary school, yes, you're right. Back then I was twice the European youth champion under the 18 years old, which is already, you know, a decent chess at that age. And then I was really considering whether to become a professional chess player. But I understood that in order to be the best in the world, you actually need to give 100% of yourself to the chess. Otherwise, Kaisa, which is the goddess of chess, becomes jealous and you get punished. So at that point, I understood that I still am. I'm still interested in many other things in my life, and so I took the decision that I would go for a university and try to make another career and play chess as long as it would be possible. And somehow it works.
And speaking about the career, you are the member of FIDE management board. You also joined the European Chess Union. What are your plans in both of these teams? Perhaps you can answer separately. And what are we expecting so far?
Yes, those are two different positions. In the European Chess Union, it's an elected one. In FIDE, that's the executive power, if I may say so. What I do like a lot in FIDE, in my new position, that it's not only, you know, all the administrative issues that I'm dealing with, but that's actually my own choice, but I see it as a very prospective direction, using chess for social development goals, not only for the professional chess players, not only the high-level, top quality chess tournaments to be organized, but I am there to foster also different social initiatives like chess in education, which I do believe is the key for the further future popularity of chess. Chess for women, chess for refugees, chess for prisoners, chess for people with disabilities. So some of the areas that we, together with my colleagues, with my teammates from the commissions, we are now trying to promote and working on the concrete projects. Like, for example, on 11th of May, you are all warmly welcome to the first online conference on chess in prison initiatives, Chess for Freedom, we called it, where you would be able to get the case studies, listen to the personal stories of the people who have been in prison, and with the help of chess, they have been successful in reintegration. So this is something that is close to my heart, and I truly believe that chess is an excellent way to reach the social development goals.
I also think that prisoners can contribute to chess community very much, because right now we have one big problem in chess, and I believe, Dana, you know that this is cheaters who's trying to use computers in their games. So maybe to face the prisoners, to get their experience, the feelings that you should not do that, you should not cheat, can be a very good idea. Maybe we should add to the Zoom more players, especially young players, to be it more instructive for them also.
You are joking, and you like the jokes, yes, but actually, when I think of the cheating in chess world, I always, feel a bit sad, because in my life, my chess coach has been, or my chess coaches have been the second fathers, and they have been the ones who have taught the basic idea that fair play is the core principle in sports. And if you do cheat, if you do fail in fair play, you can win a game, you can win a tournament, but you would not become the world chess champion. And this is the same in the life. I mean, you cannot cheat against the universe. I mean, once, twice, but at some point it ends. And in general, sports is the discipline that ought to teach the kids that, there is the principle of energy conservation in the world. The things that you give to the world, you get them back sooner or later. Yeah, so that's why I'm very strict when we speak about the cheating cases, when we now do work on the further procedures and regulations, trying to fight against the cheating, where online, of course, doesn't help much. There's this advantage of chess that we can easily switch our sports to online mode, and that's been one way of surviving the COVID period. But on the other hand, of course, that gives additional risks with the cheating, and sometimes it feels like a mission impossible to conquer that, but we'll do that.
Yeah, you mentioned your coach. This is very interesting. How chess influence your life and your career? Can you share with us maybe one or two things what you use in your life and career, which you get from chess trainings? Maybe there is something that you say, oh, okay, I know this is combination. You should not pick the king, for example, and you just see the situation. Another thing, is there something?
So many things. I mean, there are so many things that chess teaches you actually, and that has helped also in the politics and in the real life. For example, it teaches you to take the decisions, because I mean, the time is ticking, and you can calculate, you can try to remember the variations, you can rely on your intuition, but at some point you still need to make the move. So that's a decision during one game. That's 20, 40, sometimes many more decisions to be made. So decision making, one thing. Another one, it is of course trying to predict at least few moves ahead. And the last one, I guess, it's not the last one. There are a lot of things, but one of the most useful ones in the politics or chess teaches it is that you are not the only one who plays the game. There is always somebody else. So even if you calculate everything, even if you are clear with what you want to achieve, there is the opponent or your partner that will interfere in your plans. And this is, quite often useful to be remembered in the real life as well.
Yes, this is so nice.
Yeah, and perhaps one more question to you. Well, first of all, I wanted to say that the other day we had here with us international master Malcolm Payne, who actually organized world online prison championship. Yes. So it's really surprising and very inspiring you mentioning it. And you've mentioned cheating online not being helpful. As a representative of FIDE, how do you consider this innovation of the hybrid
System, yes. When we have
system
these
in chess?
authorization centers, maybe you can tell with us, share with us more about this system.
There is a saying that you know that you have reached a good compromise when both of the parties are somehow dissatisfied or unsatisfied. Yes, so some might argue that that's about the hybrid chess, a compromise when nobody feels a full satisfaction. But actually, I think that is a solution that FIDE has offered in these special cases. I mean, we do not live in a normal world at this moment. We are still restricted by COVID, and that does deter our federations from organizing the actual tournaments, which once again, or for itself, is a damaging thing for the professional chess players, especially those who use chess for their living. I mean, not all of them can train online or find any other income sources. So this way, with hybrid tournaments, the idea is to give the opportunity to organize the chess events on spot with the proper arbiters, with the proper fair play, and playing on spot while the moves transmitted online. So let us see how it works. The big first or nearest test, it is of course the World Cup qualifications. So I hope that the continents will be able to deal with this challenge, and FIDE also plays our part. For example, our Arbiters Commission has come with the initiative offering every federation to train at least 2 arbiters in hybrid tournament organization or arbitrring. Yes.
Dana, and which player of this tournament do you like the most? Generally speaking, not only in this tournament, the style of play, maybe the character of him. Who is your favorite player in this tournament?
I would not tell that, because my favorite thing of this tournament would be the tension and the high intrigue left till the very end of the tournament. So I would not really reveal my cards, who my favorite is.
So let's call it other player, 9th player, the tension, who also can decide.
The tension, yeah, that's a nice expression.
Yes.
So the other player, the tension.
Dana, it was a total pleasure having you here with us. Thank you, and we wish you a very nice rest of your stay in Yekaterinburg.
Yes, it was a big pleasure to meet you on this Saturday evening, especially in this so decisive round, and to hear your impressions about the event from Yekaterinburg. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to me as well. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yes, so unfortunately there is no secret, Dina. What to do?
Yeah, I was pretty upset, I have to admit. Well, not only we had 4 resultative games, but also 2 amazing guests. What a day, and we haven't yet finished.
Yes, so we also made the good preparation. We prepared for this tournament also for 1 year. So I think the more heat we will feel in the tournament, then more interesting guests we will have. So now let's go back to the chess part. As we promised, the second game of today will be the game Maxim Vachier-Lagrave against Kirill Alekseenko. We were telling that Maxim tried to play very complex and sharp games every day, and finally he managed to win the game. And after this game, he came again to the leading positions. He is number 3 in the tournament, and this gives more intrigue to the tournament situation.
Definitely.
And also, his opening choice was very good choice. I should say that Dina, you should tell to our viewers about this line more.
Yeah, I was totally surprised, or may even say I was shocked. F3, wow, what a move! It's a pure sideline. I would never imagine a player of that caliber at that tournament playing f3 here, move number 3. Ernesto, how could you explain this? I mean, it's proven to not be giving anything to white, but at the same time, well, I do understand that it's a matter of surprise. Your opponent didn't expect, and the question is, does he remember how to play here? Which, by the way, Kirill didn't.
Well, first I should say that to my students, I usually tell two things. That in the openings, of course, you should take the center with the pawns. This is must. Second, you should develop your pieces, and you should put your king on the safe place, and definitely not to weak the king. So we can see that the king is weak right now. The pawn on f3 is take the square from the knight. You cannot play knight f3 anymore. So this line is just against all these rules. But I should mention that this is not like a line absolutely from nowhere. So this line already were played, but very strong grandmasters, and it has a reputation of a very sharp and complicated line. So if black is not really ready theoretically, this is very challenging because white wants to get a space advantage, and black should play extremely accurate to not to give this for white. I think this was the mood of Maxim in this day, because he decided, okay, I want to make it fire. I don't want to play just long game. Just let start fighting.
There is Nepo who's in front of me. I need to catch him. I need to hurry. Yeah, that's what he must have told himself when choosing this f3. So d takes e4, f takes e4, and now e5 is the main line in this Caruana. The other sides line we could mention are, well, I personally tried g6, once again also dubious, so to be. But once again, if your opponent remembers the moves, then it doesn't work. And for me, it worked well because the opponent wasn't ready. So also a nice try to put the bishop on g7. The mistake here would be for white to play e5, and that's what my opponent did. And then the plan would be to put the bishop on g7 and to play f6 and to create the pawn break. And then the center would be ours. The position would be just perfect. The other plan would be here for black to play queen b6, attacking the d4 pawn, also putting some pressure, extra pressure on the b2 pawn. And here also no advantage for white, as far as I remember.
Yes, in this position, black can make a few moves, which is equally strong. They all lead just to different kind of positions, and I think this is one of the reasons why Maxim decided to play this line, because he gave white choice to Kirill, and this is the idea of this line also.
Yeah. So in the game we had d takes e4, which is the main line, so we cannot argue here with Kirill. F takes e4, e5 is correct, knight f3, bishop g4.
It's all well-known moves, and only move 6 is surprising.
And right now, this is the point, the turning point for Kirill. He chose to go for knight f6. Do we already know if it was just because he didn't remember? Because the rights, oh, no, not the right, there is no right, but the main line here is 97. So the question is, did Kirill mix something, or?
We don't know it yet because he didn't. We didn't see him on a press conference. Maybe he will share it later on. But I have a feeling that he didn't expect this line at all. So Caruana is not generally his main opening, and he just was unprepared. And probably this was just too much for him. He played more or less naturally. I want to say that this is the most unpleasant situation for the players when you remember what you wanted to play. You remember some moves, for example, e5, knight f6, bishop g4, but you don't remember exactly move order.
You remember that you have some files in your computer in this line, but you don't remember what are the exact moves. Yeah, and I do have to say that I have a personal experience facing Kirill Alekseenko back in, oh my god, I do not even remember what year was that, but I do remember him being 13 and me 16, so that was some time ago.
You had same position, more or less?
I was playing black, and I played Caruana in that game, and at that time, well, he was playing white. Well, also, one more thing to show you that he might not be having the best experience in Caruana, and we had a pawn-off attack. That's another story, but yeah, once again, very curious situation for Kirill here, and unfortunately, things didn't go that well for him.
Okay, so maybe Caruana is just not his opening. He need to work on it also. So knight f6 is not mistake yet. It's absolutely playable move. So maybe it was his preparation. But after bishop c4, queen c7 is really mistake. So all position is the point of the position that white cannot take on e5 because if white will take on e5.
Let us show it.
Yes, okay. Instead of bishop c4, better to do it. So if white would take, there is a swap of the queens. And then black can attack e5 square. So this is the point of this. The king on d1 is not really on good position, and black will take the pawn back and get a good counterplay. So what he made in the game, he played queen c7. This led white to take it without swapping the queens. And this is a problem of the choice what Kirill made.
And starting from here, white is already better.
Yes, white have clear advantage because black needs to change the bishop on the knight, and in the open position white have two very strong bishops, and because of that the advantage is quite big. We should mention that Kirill didn't really have a chances to survive. He was defending hard, but the position all the time remains seriously better for white. And it was a question, is Maxim ready to win today? Or maybe he also will face some doubts, his fears that you know, in a bad tournament when things goes wrong, everything goes wrong. You don't win winning position, you lose worse position. So I think this was more fight Maxim against his fears and his doubts.
Yeah, sometimes you just cannot do anything. Well, I have to say, even if that will be a spoiler, his biggest chances were not were to continue till the end.
Yes.
In the game.
Yeah, I want to just show the last moment. So he quickly won the pawn, and Kirill defended, trying to make this pawn not so important, to find some compensation. And this was the last moment when Kirill should fight in. So the trade of the rooks is a strategical threat. And if white will play rook d1, black already can't avoid it because rook on d5 will be just terrific. So this is what the moment when Kirill should, in any cost, stop this rook d1.
Exactly.
And the only chance was to do it is to play bishop f6, attacking b2, and forcing white to defend this pawn somehow with rook b1. But now c5 is hanging, so it's unpleasant. There is no way for black to continue it in easy way to develop the pressure on b2. And black need to sacrifice the second pawn after bishop f6, rook b1. Black need to go rook b8, bishop takes c5, and b3. Now b2 is serious weakness. Now rook on b8 is very active, and also c4 is now weak. So rook c8 and takes c4 is also a threat. So this was a way to fight, and after this line, Kirill still would have a chances to save the game. But unfortunately, he didn't use his last chance, so he let Maxim play rook d1. And after that, the game was basically over. We just can quickly jump to the last position because it's quite nice. We see that black will be just out of moves. The bishop will come to f8. I want to show this line. This is why we went to this position. So what is the problem of black? Black king stops white king to go forward. So it looks like it is a defensive castle. So it looks like everything is blocked and white just cannot improve. But suddenly Kirill resigns. So why did he resign? Black don't have any other moves, only need to wait. So bishop s7, bishop f8, bishop b6, bishop d6. Once again, king cannot move because then white will go with king d5. So he still need to play with the bishop and bishop c7, taking the last squares from the bishop.
That's amazing. A total Zugzwang.
Yes, and after king d7, white can sacrifice the bishop.
Oh, wow, this is a very nice line. Let us show it. King e6, going to f7, and then the pawn pushing, and then,
yes,
boom, promotion.
Yes, so very important game for the Maxim and also for our tournament, because now he need...
Yeah, go on, continue, I'm just trolling you.
Yes, okay. We can do it after the stream, play with the 5 minutes. Okay, so was very important game for Maxim and also for our tournament, because after the player win the game, he start to feel to get his to feel his power, and we should not forget that Maxim will play a game against the leader Jan Nepomniachtchi. So this is very important for him to recover before this game.
In the last round, even though Maxim is going to have black, that would be the biggest tension. I think that would be the favorite of Dana.
Yes, but also Maxim have a better tie breaks because he beat the only player who beat Jan Nepomniachtchi in the first lap. So theoretically speaking, if he will win this last game, he still have a chances to win the tournament. So this we can call a comeback Maxim again to the fight for the first place.
A really nice comeback, knowing that yesterday he had a difficult game and difficult result. Yes, pretty impressive. And well, I might add that I was honestly a little bit upset to see Kirill Alekseenko resigning. You know, I'm also dedicating a lot of time to streaming chess, and every single time I tell my viewers to never resign in any kind of position. And as far as we heard from the press conference, Kirill actually mentioned that he simply was or had enough of it and didn't want to continue suffering.
Yeah, he got the words out of the opening, so it's looking like 4 hours he's trying to defend the bad position. This is difficult psychologically.
Yeah, but you're the candidate. You're in Yekaterinburg. The world is watching you. Why don't you want to fight till the end?
Yes, but you know, you cannot invite the second player and ask him, please give me a rook or a queen. I need your power. This is a chess game. There is only 44 squares. 64 squares, and no you just cannot add some resources, you know. It's not like biathlon when you make another round and your extra minutes just go away. If it would be so in chess, just imagine, you know, you make a 20 burpee and get 1 more pound. How do you think who would be a favorite in with such rules?
Yeah, that's a right question. Okay, we do have a result, so we are not on their position, so
yes, today we see we suddenly have 1 more game. We just can't forget about this game. We should definitely talk about this. Of course, this is a win of Jan Nepomniachtchi against Wang Hao with black pieces. First of all, I would say that this is very surprising choice of the opening. Jan decided to play a Petrov defense. He's not really expert in this line with black pieces. He had a lot of wonderful games with white. So I was quite surprised that he decided to play this line against Wang Hao. He is actually one of the leading experts in Petrov with black.
So I remember you recalling the Kasparov idea about this situation. Whenever you do not have some decent ideas, you might actually try the same thing against your opponent that he plays himself. And this is what Jan Nepomniachtchi did in this game. And by the way, you say the Petrov defense doesn't actually represent Jan that much. That was before. That was a year ago. And now everything must have changed.
Yeah, we can say that this is new opening for the Jan, quite new. Okay, nowadays he plays a lot of new opening ideas, but when he played the candidate tournaments 1 year ago, he definitely didn't have it in the pocket. So we can see that this 1 year break he spent in a decent way, so he came to the tournament not with empty hand. The pocket, which Dana meant. Today, his pocket is full of ideas.
Yeah, that is pretty surprising. Let's go on. Knight takes
yes,
e5.
so this opening is famous that black is trying to equalize position completely. In many lines of this opening, there is just forced draw. And generally speaking, Wang Hao didn't manage to put any problem for Jan. So black equalized the position, and out of the opening, it looks like it will be quick draw. Such boring was the position. But the players didn't agree. They didn't find the way to make a repetition or to change all the moves. And more close to the time control, the position became quite complicated. And already here we can see that white knight on f1 and king on g2 is really not an active pieces right now. And also f3 pawn is weakening the white king. So suddenly at this situation, white start to feel uncomfortable. It's still not a big deal. It's a slight advantage, but it's definitely that it is black who is trying to win this game. And this is very unpleasant psychologically because you don't have a chance to win, and you should be very accurate, pay patient to defend this position. So the situation was the same during the long period, and we should just go to the more or less last part of the game.
So the last critical moments when everything started to collapse for black.
Yes, so I think that what Jan did in this game, this was really smart. He is pressing, improving, and make it the most unpleasant as possible for Van Gaal, and finally Van Gaal collapsed. So
we might mention this fantastic maneuver of the H pawn, very typical one. Whenever you have an advantage and you do not see how to win, you need to create the second weakness. The first one for white would be the fact that they do not have the pass pawn, and the second one would be this maneuver of the H pawn. It could also be the A pawn, or for both of the side, or the H pawn. In general, this is the rule for any position, and here pretty nice of Jan.
As we have instructive stream today, Dina, can you explain us why black's position is better here?
Well, okay, first of all, there is this pawn. It is close to the promotion square. Well, you would say that there is the A6 pawn, which is even closer, but look at the rooks. The rooks are totally different. The black rook on the second file is totally paralyzing white pieces, while white's rook, even if it is also on the 7th rank, it doesn't give white that much because the king is already on f6 and the pawn is well, okay, there is f7 pawn, but it's just an f7 pawn and that's it. But here the king is coming and everything is coming, the pieces are active. Well, the last and the most important thing that I have to say about this position is that the rook is behind the pawn, while white's rook on a7 is in front of it, and this is the biggest thing about it.
Yes.
You cannot disagree with everything I said.
Yes, and I should add that I like so much how you draw the board, and I was waiting to see the green and also the blue color on it.
Yeah, let me try with the blue one.
Oh,
here
wonderful.
We go.
Yes, thank you very much.
You
yes.
should only ask.
It's absolutely clear. Now it's absolutely clear for me. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, so this is what Van Gaal have to face during the game. You see how difficult it is. And finally, he made one more weakness, this g4. It's difficult not to make it, but after g4, it's the position become really weak. The surprising moment, I think, is the last moment of the game, because frankly speaking, white could continue the game. When Van Gaal resigned, it was not over yet. And according to your spirit, Dina,
I guess it's just the. I don't think it's actually their fault. It's just something mystical or mysterious about this day that everyone all of a sudden starts resigning and not believing in themselves anymore. I do not have any other explanation.
I have another idea. I should Van Gaal and Kirill should invite you in their team to give motivation, you know, to know how not to resign.
I would definitely be able to give them some advice.
Yes. So the last moment was this position. You see, there is only one pawn, one extra pawn for black, but g4 pawn is very weak and king on g1 is very bad. This is exactly what Van Gaal said on the press conference. He said that he didn't believe that he can survive in this game, and he felt that it's already time just to stop it and go home. So this is one of the part of every chess game. The players not only find the moves, they also try to prove that they are better. And as I see this resignation, is that Van Gaal just said to himself that I can't defend against Jan Nepomniachtchi today. I have no chance to save this game. And then he resigned.
Very nice thing about it is that he even mentioned that after move 40, he started to play like a 200 2,200 player. This was,
So he felt that things go so bad.
I mean, if you say that's bad, most of our viewers will just stop watching the stream.
Yes. Okay, so very hot day today. We also should tell that in the games 4, Dean Clearon won the game against Alexander Grishuk. It was a long positional fight, but at the end, Grishuk just started to make it, was trying to make it more sharp and make a very big mistake and just lost in few moves, which is quite disappointing because after the yesterday game, we were hoping that he will make more fire today and have more chances. But also we can see that Dean Clearon won one more game, so we have another dangerous player on the field who also won the game and now can continue the tournament with much more pleasure.
And he's also looking for some fresh blood in the round 13. Speaking about the round 13, let us first have a look at the standings after round 12.
Yes, so the leader of the tournament is Jan Nepomniachtchi. He have 8 points. On the second position is Anish Giri, 7.5. And they have a clear lead from the third, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, who have only 6.5 points.
And then we have Fabiano Caruana, who, if we may, has already lost his chances to fight, or almost lost his chances to fight.
Yes, and other players is also not really competing for the win of the tournament. So what do we expect from the next round, from the round 13?
We do have some very interesting matchups. I have to remind that tomorrow is yet another free day. And let us now take a look at the pairings of the round 13.
Yes, so in the first game of that day, Van Hao will have white pieces against Fabiano Caruana. Despite we said that Fabi don't have a chances for the win anymore, but theoretically he still have it, so I believe he will try to play extremely aggressive game with the black pieces.
And he definitely wants to stop Giri.
Yes, this is true. The second game of the round 13 is the game Jan Nepomniachtchi against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. Jan will have white pieces. I should remember that in the first lap of this tournament 1 year ago, Maxime is the only player who won against Jan, the only player who stopped Jan. And as Maxime just won his game, this is generally will be very, very big fight. Of course, we already have seen how Jan just controlled the Fabiano Caruana, but it is very curious what will he do now. Will he do the same against Maxime, or maybe he will let Maxime play very sharp game?
That's a good question. On the third board, we will be having Kirill Alekseenko with the white pieces versus Dean Clearon.
Yes, both players are not really in the top 3 or something, but I expect that Kirill Alekseenko with white pieces, he is dangerous player. I feel like he completely different player with white pieces and with black. In this tournament, he faced very difficult opponents with black and played very interesting game with white. So we expect very sharp and interesting fight. And the game number 4 is Alexander Grishuk against Anish Giri. Generally speaking, we should say that the player who have white pieces have more chances, but I have a feeling that this game would be the most exciting from all the round, because Alexander Grishuk with white pieces definitely will not try to control Giri, and we can expect very complicated game with time trouble for sure. And we can see what Giri is doing here so far, so I believe he will accept the challenge. And my opinion would be that this is the game of the round for the round 13.
Yeah, it will definitely be. I truly agree with you. And I might also add that it is going to be either a super easy win for Giri or a very tough loss. That would be my prediction. That's it for today. What an amazing day at the office.
Yes, I should say that this Saturday evening is the most exciting evening I had for the months. So thank you very much, Dina. Thanks for the players and for our guest for today. And don't forget to put like, subscribe on the channel, and join us on the round 13,
which will take place on Monday.